Today, we will guide you through the process of setting up zone pricing. This feature allows administrators to establish specific pricing for certain locations. To begin, click on the options located on the left side of the panel. Here you will find the Manage Zone and Zone Pricing options. Before you can set up zone pricing, you first need to define a zone, which is a specific territory or location. To do this, click on the New button. When defining the zone, you can specify the zone type in 3 different ways: pickup, pickup location, drop-off location, or both. The selected zone type will determine zone type is created for pickup, drop-off, or both. For instance, if the zone is set up as a pickup location, then this zone will appear only in the From zone. The Properties feature is used to collect specific information from the customer, such as flight number, airline name, etc. If you need to collect this information, it can be set up in the Properties. To define a zone radius, you will need to enter a location. Suggestions will then appear. Once a location is selected, you can then define the territory on the map. When the zone has been defined, it can be created accordingly. If you wish to set up property values, you can do so by clicking on the Custom field. Here, you can set up properties like flight numbers, and so on. You can also determine how you want to collect information from the customer. This could be through a text box, date, multi-selection options, or a drop-down. Additionally, you can specify whether this information is required to generate a trip. If they wish, they can enable the option and create the properties. When the system prompts the customer for the flight number, it becomes mandatory for them to provide this information to proceed with any bookings. Moving forward, after setting up the zone, we can navigate to the Zone Pricing section. Here, we can define different types of zone pricing. By clicking on the New button, the admin can define zone pricing for specific locations. While setting up the zone title, the admin has the option to select whether the predefined zone will be listed, if the customer so desires. Admin can apply specific pricing based on the pickup and drop-off locations by selecting the appropriate zone for both types. Additionally, the admin can define fixed destinations for customers, allowing them to choose from a list of predefined locations that will appear in the customer interface. If the customer's trip originates from any location, but the drop-off location is within this radius, then the zone pricing should be applied. In that case, the admin can select any options. On the other hand, in the drop-off type, they can select the location. Once the location is selected, the zone pricing setup can be completed. Moving forward, if the admin wants to apply surge pricing to this particular zone to increase the pricing value, they have the option to enable it, or they can choose to turn it off. Next, let's discuss additional charges. These can be set up based on the location where the charge is given to the company or the driver. The additional charges could be for things like toll amounts, which are typically paid by drivers at airport parking areas or other locations. These charges will be collected from the customer and delivered to the driver or the company, depending on the configuration defined here. Finally, the last configuration is the setup of pricing for this particular location. By clicking on the Add Rate button, a list of vehicle types will appear. Here, the admin can define the price in 3 different ways. The first one is the flat rate, where a flat amount will be applied to that particular trip, because the zone pricing is applied. In any case, if there are other charges configured in the pricing section, they can select the custom rate or the meter price. Based on the selected price type, a list of pricing options will appear. Once the Submit button is clicked, it allows for the creation of zone pricing for that specific location. If a trip originates from this location, the specific pricing will be applied. This is the functionality of the zone pricing feature.